And we're live.
Just like that, ladies and gentlemen. A little extra fast today, man. On Saturday, we had to wait a full 11 seconds to go live. Nay, 10 seconds today, baby.
Yes.
How is everybody doing? Oh, we got a little bit to talk about today because Firefox did a thing. Everybody's favorite browser that we got to talk about. And a couple of other bits and bobs. We might have a pulsating solution for you. And hey, you got to give Microsoft credit where credit's due because they might have made audio in Linux simple enough for Windows users to figure out. Possibly.
Though you might be asking Windows users to run terminal commands.
Oh, good timing, Artherin. Awesome.
Yeah. I got to go do social media things.
Okay.
See, Artherin, we're best enjoyed in the background while you're doing other things and you have people shouting in your ear.
Hey, man. We're really good over lo-fi hip-hop beats.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, very true.
The only exposure to the lo-fi thing is every now and then Nori just plugs the sound bar in and just turns it on and just lo-fi all throughout the place. It's like, okay, that's inoffensive enough that I do not mind it. It could be any at that point. It's fine.
I often turn on the YouTube channels for lo-fi myself, just to have some background noise.
I got to be perfectly honest. My only experience with the lo-fi, everyone knows the thumbnail, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's this all about?
Ambient at work.
Click. Okay.
While you're
Close.
studying.
Yeah, there's two really famous ones. One is the girl, and you have the side view. She's on her desk.
Yeah.
And the other one is the trash panda raccoon. That's on its bed. It's got the laptop, and every now and then it leans back. Then it comes back.
No, man. If I'm trying to focus, I want something, like more mellow, like Cannibal Corpse or something.
Yeah.
Maybe some Slipknot Baby Shark.
Oh boy.
Yes. When I saw you post that, it's like, okay, no, I gotta go read the comment. Why are the comments disabled? You're taking my fun away.
I was in the middle of doing something. My only thought was like, Pedro thought to check for comments. Huh. I didn't. I just immediately assumed that was going to be note.
It's like Slipknot, Baby Shark. It's like, oh, I gotta go read the comments on that. Nope. Hang it.
Don't you hate it when that happens sometimes? Because you do get it like built up. You're like, oh, hang on. Let me go get some snacks before we go through this. And comments are off. Yeah.
It's like, I want the catharsis. I want to see, internet discussions that I'm not involved in. I just want to watch. No. I was denied.
Jill, are the thunderstorms done in Los Angeles?
Yes, they are. We've been having windstorms, though.
Oh, no.
Not today. Today's beautiful, but yesterday we had a windstorm, and there were several fires, and I could smell it. I was like, oh, no, because they're dry wind, Santa Ana's. So that's been causing havoc. But today's much quieter and mellower.
All right. It quit raining after 2 weeks. I was surprised.
I was going to ask you, how that was going, because I keep looking at the Georgia rain. You got like 10 inches or something like that in a couple weeks?
10 inches? We get like 10 inches in the afternoon, man.
Oh, okay.
Like other parts of the California critters, they got like warped perspective. Like it will genuinely rain for 3 days straight. Like not stop ever completely.
It's only done that twice since I've been alive here in LA. But it has happened.
Like for just like general background music, Twitch has become my thing. And it's not, I don't listen to background music on Twitch. I just like find somebody usually like in science and technology or the makers. I pop that on, listen to them, and I'm like, all right, you're good.
Find someone whose voice I don't mind. That's what I do.
Doing something kind of interesting that you might pop in, but not too interesting because you got stuff to do. You can't be distracted. Hey, look at Showbot going on.
6 minutes.
Or something I like to do is put on like YouTubers that I've watched before that I've already seen the streams, and I'll put them on again to repeat just to have noise. That's nice. So then if I miss something and not paying attention, I don't really miss something because I'd already seen it.
Yeah, I like watching live. One thing YouTube needs to fix is like their live discovery. Have you ever like, hey, who's streaming stuff live on you? How do you even get there, man?
I think it shows up on the subscription list down the left. You got a little red thingy to say they're live.
No. I'm talking about discovery, man.
Oh, just people you're not even subscribed to, yeah.
Yeah, like how do I browse some live channels and categories?
I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea.
That's something they need to fix.
I find that the YouTube apps on TVs are better for that. Like our YouTube app on their Samsung seems to get, it does a better job with the discovery of YouTube channels than, the website. The classic website.
I know something that I think strangely I've been watching, that's a strong word, listening to, is Louis Rosman driving around.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, all right, that's background noise.
I will be right back.
I let Louis Rossman build up a few videos and then I just cue them all, and it's like for an hour it's like all Louis Rossman complaining about Apple or complaining about whoever. It's like, yes.
Oh no, I've like subscribed to his side channel where he just live streams driving.
Right, okay.
So that's what I did have an issue yesterday because somebody I watch in the background, it's like, I got this new audio thing and I don't know, I need something with an EQ in it, and I just spent all this money, what do I need? It doesn't exist. Like what I was talking to you guys about on Saturday about the Symmetrics thing, right? And I'm like, here, get one of these yours, they work. And it's like, oh, that, I'm like, yeah, they're used, they're recently. And then I like had it as like, don't bid on that one. That one's mine. True story.
I put a safe search on one of them and nothing. It's just those two for 170 pounds. That's it. After I buy the Game Gear, I'll look into that.
I think I might be able to get my hands on one. I'm watching it right now. The bid ends tomorrow, and it doesn't seem like it's got any interest in it whatsoever.
All right.
But that usually means that there's 5 or 6 of these doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not willing to pay any more than the initial bid. My luck, no one to bid on it, and I'm like, hey, I'll put my bid below minimum.
There were a few things off eBay that I got like, okay, no one's bid on it. Throw in an offer for the amount, the starting bid minus the shipping. They usually take it.
I just don't like haggling, and I know that's 100% of the case. Every now and then I'll haggle. But I don't lowball anybody. Like when I hit you...
I always try to go a bit lower.
I don't.
Most of the time I just get flat out reviews like, okay, fine.
I genuinely go for like, I am 100% trying to minimize my interaction with the other person. So it rarely works out when they come back with a higher bid. And I'm like, nope, I'm gone. Like that was my legitimate bid. That wasn't my, I'll see you when it gets relisted.
That's how I got this monitor for 200 pounds and 1p. Because I'd already made an offer for 200 pounds. Like, this is what these are worth. Use. Sorry. And he wanted 300 for it. It's like, no. Mm-mm. And the scary thing was I was on PC Part Picker the other day, and I was going through the listing that I have with the current build now, and I looked at the price because I looked down at the value. It's like, what? Why is it so expensive now? What went up in price? And I looked at the price of this monitor. They're going for 800 pounds now. That's crazy.
One thing I wish more sites had, the site I peruse for used audio equipment is reverb.com. And when they click on something, it automatically gives you a chart graph of what that has sold for over time. Which you will always see the one that was sold for like $100 less than everyone. It's like, man.
I was not there for that one.
Right. All right. Oh, so we got some review copies for the
Aeon Drive.
Yeah. Don't you dare play it tomorrow, Jordan. I'm playing that Friday. I've been going over and over and over, man. My little red box. It's not atrocious, but I've never said anything bad about these, other than they're overpriced for what they are.
Unless you want to call the YouTuber special as saying a bad thing.
That's just what it is, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't deny science.
That is very much the, whenever you see a YouTuber doing like a behind the scenes and they show their desk, it's like, let's look for the red interface on their desk. There it is.
You know what? When I get done with this interfacing Linux, Focusrite will not be upset with me because I will not say anything really bad about these other than good on you, Focusrite. You have excellent marketing.
Yes. And thanks for the follow, Tepri.
Thank you, Tepri.
Tepri? Tepri.
Keep going. I'm not satisfied.
Tepper? Tepri. Okay.
No. It's te. Tepri.
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 Oh, Tepri.
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 Tepri. The pre.
Get on the right show notes. Also, apparently the Focusrite has been named the Scojo Gen 3. There we go. Yeah, let me get a refill and we'll hop into it.
Yes.
Do.
Right. So what have you been doing this week, Jill?
Oh boy. It's lots of work.
I know the feeling, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, mostly just work.
Yeah, yes. I
I
have
work
to go into
weekends
the
now.
office again tomorrow because everyone figures, oh, yeah, let's hire people, which, you know, there are a lot of people that the whole hiring thing, I don't mind because it's like, okay, there's a lot of people in this country that need work. Do you want to give them work? Cool beans. Can you, you know, like, ease up on the very specific requests for equipment because I've gotten to the point where I don't even take glee in saying no anymore.
Oh.
Most of those requests are you serious? Oh, but I read here and here that we could ask for this. Okay, here's the actual thing. Go and read that. Yeah. So no.
Steve husband has they keep him so busy it's hard for him to go to meetings.
I wish.
So, yeah.
3 hours this morning, nonstop.
Yeah. He goes to a lot of meetings, but he's able to get out of some of them just because, if you guys want me to make product, then we don't have meetings. If we have these meetings, then I can't make my product. So.
I dropped the line occasionally with my boss. It's like, do we need as many meetings as we have? Because we're, the operational team since, not a lot of people go to the offices anymore. Facilities aren't doing anything. So, yeah, we are the operational team. Can we not? That'd be nice. But no, the corporate world does not allow for not going to meetings, apparently.
Yeah. Well, Steve husband was off Saturday, so that was really nice. We got to spend some time together and watched YouTube videos together, some of our favorite content creators.
Why not give Steve a choice of content creators to watch every now and then?
Oh, I did.
Are you really tired of just watching other people modeling?
Yeah. More Slothy is one of our favorite. He is the England fair vlogger, and he's the one that everyone knows. He's excellent. He's one of my favorites, and his specialty is the fairs, all the little local fairs, and those are so much fun to watch. It's him and his group of friends, and they just have so much fun, and we support them.
I know. Surprisingly enough, the videos I actually watch and sit down to watch on YouTube are Hand Tool Rescue and My Mechanics. It's basically the same concept, except Hand Tool Rescue tries to make it funny, and My Mechanics, he goes out of his way to not just restore, but also improve everything that he's restoring.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have all my, retro computer content creators and, of course, all the Linux stuff. But what I do is when me and Steve husband are together, we kind of watch things that we enjoy together. So I have my own hobbies I watch separately. And then he has his model building shows he watches separately. Because for me, they're incredibly boring. Watching 3 hours of a model being built is not exactly fun for his wife.
I watch a Canadian repair guitars.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But they're interesting, and I love to see the final product. I just don't like watching so much the in-betweens.
There was a dude that I found repairing computers. Unfortunately, he has a lot of verbal tics. I know I shouldn't be the one talking, pot kettle and whatnot, but he has a lot of verbal tics. But I really like the way that the videos are put together, and he just grabs random laptops and finds the best bits, like the best revision of the motherboard and the best revision if it's a socketed CPU, best CPU. And then puts them back together and sands the top and then polishes the top and then puts some wax and then puts it in top coat. It's like,
Nice.
That looks like a really nice laptop after you're done, yes.
See, I guess I could get behind that. Like when it comes to electronics, there's this one kid I watched that upgrades CPUs and MacBooks.
Yeah, those are. Yeah,
Can't
those
do
are
that
fun.
since the T2 chip.
Desoldering, man. BGAs. And it's like,
Yep.
is this possible? But then again, if you follow me on Twitter, I just posted a thing about 100 megahertz 6502.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of crazy. All right.
That's amazing.
I think we should be.
Oh, of course. Have to have Captain Kirk on a mug today. 90 years old.
Topical.
In space. Yes. And my shirt, too. Captain Kirk.
Yeah, you could imagine, man. Like, Bezos is like, man, let's not kill Kirk.
Yes. This was a very
That
important
would have
mission
cost me
for
a lot of
Blue
money.
Origin.
No.
Yeah.
That was very telling, though, at the end when the touchdown. And it's like, William Shatner and this other person plus 2 customers.
Yeah.
I was like, right, they didn't pay to do that. That was hey.
Hey, Jeffy boy, can I can I ride your very
Pretty
phallic
sure it
rocket,
was the
please?
other way around. It's like, this would be good marketing. So, I don't know. What is that the kind of space trip you're up for? Or do you want to do like the SpaceX one where like they just put you in orbit for 3 days?
My hubby says he would like to do the Virgin one because you go on the plane and you get to take off and land. The Bezos
just the
one was good
space-
for Shatner because it was basically a big space elevator. So
If it's like, oh, we're going to Mars and we're leaving you there for like a week and then we pick you back up, it's like, okay.
I'm just saying, if you had to pick between the 3, like the Virgin Galactic and the Bezos things are rounding
Virgin
errors
for
for
me.
each other. And then you
Yeah.
got SpaceX is a little different because they put you in actual orbit and
Yeah.
you're up there for a couple of days.
yeah,
Which one's more your
I
speed?
think,
Do you
yeah,
just
for,
want like
for
the
just for trying that, maybe
think-
the SpaceX one, yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know if I want that kind of commitment. I might get bored because if it really
I
depends
honestly,
on like how many people I
Yeah.
have to play with and
Yeah.
how durable they are.
I honestly think if I did it, and we could, if we sold the house, and me and Steven each could, if I did, I would want to, since I'm spending that much money, I'd go ahead and do it full bore and do the SpaceX. Might as well while you're up there, right? And that I'm young. You know, if I was older, like William Shatner, now I'd want to do the elevator probably. So that's the easiest one and less training.
All right, Joel, you remember in 40 years, I'm going to start calling you old.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Let's buckle up. Do a show. Tens of millions.
Yeah. That's yeah. So we'd have to do the Virgin or the Bezos.
Get that loaded. We should be good to go. And load. Start recording. We're going to be doing that. It's handy to record multiple times. Nice long ride.
Yeah. Virgin, nice long ride. Yeah. That's what I think too.
I don't know. I think there's something to be said for, cutting the middleman out on reentry. Just like, hey, gravity, we don't need to bring aerodynamics in. Well, we kind of do, but,
It would be nice being in a rocket too. That is kind of cool.
I mean, how often do you get to, experience a controlled explosion?
Yes. Very true.
Let's do this in 3, 2. Hey everyone, welcome back to Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays, where we can sit back, relax, take that midweek break, talk about some of the fun things that we found going on in the world of Linux. I'm Ben Stone, joined every week by Joe Bryant and one Pedro Mateus, and together with you watching us live on Twitch, which seems to be back in one piece, kind of. Our YouTube export thing works again. Sorry about that last week, but I just made it public for everyone to just watch because, hey, what's the point in doing this if people don't see it? We got a bunch of stuff to talk about this week, but I'll let everyone know that I'm making progress on a little YouTuber special. I got a little red box from Focusrite, and I genuinely thought by now, when I started doing the Interfacing Linux series like 2 years ago, I also had a thought about this, like the two people doing like public facing audio stuff for Linux are like, there's two people doing it. It's me and Unfa.
Yeah.
We need more. The two non-native English speakers are crushing it. But yeah, I'm playing around with this, and I'm going to get some benchmark numbers with the new kernel versus what a current kernel would be running. And I dare say I might be teaching people maths. So keep that in mind.
Woohoo.
Yeah. That's the size of this microphone next to the 3rd gen Focusrite. There's a little difference. But
Yeah.
I'm bringing that out as like maybe not the right tool for the job. Anyway. Outside of that, not much. How about you, Jill? I know you were making posts in Discord this morning. You're like,
Yeah, very exciting. So it was so wonderful watching William Shatner, our Captain Kirk, go to space, the final frontier, this morning on the Blue Origin rocket, and the oldest person in space at 90. Congratulations, William Shatner. And it was so wonderful hearing his profound poetry about the fragility of our planet when he returned to Earth. It was amazing description and experience that he had. And he's said it so well, despite being, so shaky and nervous and excited at the same time. He did a great job.
Oh, I'm sure he took plenty of drugs.
No. Yeah.
Pedro, what have you been putting in your ears?
I have been putting things in my ears I cannot deny.
Yeah.
I've been putting the KZ ZN Pro X's, which are basically the pair of in-ear monitors that the YouTubers seem to agree is like they're cheap, but they punch well above their weight. And when I first put them on, it's like, where's the bass? It's like I can hear the high ends. The high ends sound amazing, but where's the bass? And then I realized, wait a second, these have the little rubbery things. You got to shove them into your ear canal. It's like, okay, there's the bass. Okay.
Yeah, to suck them
once
in.
they were, once they were in place, they actually sound very good. They sound almost as good as these AKGs that I have on my head right now. So good job, KZ.
Now, I could ask you a very important question. Show me the 3.5 millimeter on the end of that.
3.5 mil. Right about here.
Right. Now, the reason I asked that, if you have in-ears, or even if I have these studio monitors on and I'm in here working on a mix or something like that for multiple hours, I forget I have them on. Kind of important. Something I always look for in a headphone is to make sure it has a straight. So it pulls out very effectively when I get up and walk off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to be using these in here. These are for when I go outside. These are going to live in the laptop bag and the backpack, whatever I'm taking with me.
Perfect.
That's where they go.
Well, I hope you do enjoy them. Okay. Linuxy things, and Firefox has a brand new feature out that everyone is super excited. We're talking about Firefox Suggest. What is it? It's a new feature that serves is a trustworthy guide to a better web, finding relevant information and sites to help you accomplish your goals. It's on by default, and okay. This goes through, just a lot of stuff. It's going to give you suggestions from trusted partners that Mozilla has vetted and all that. This is a very, very long way of saying we're going to put some ads in the address bar, and it's going to be enabled by default in Firefox 93. Now, surprisingly, or unsurprisingly, I should say, the internet has taken issue with this. And, I think a lot of that is coming from the PR speak in this blog at support.mozilla.org. All this is going to be in our show notes after the fact, but it is full metal PR speak. And it made me think about, we talked maybe last month, a couple of weeks ago, just how far usage statistics, Firefox's market share is in 2021. It was alarmingly small. I think we were all taken aback a little bit of like, wow, Edge is beating out Firefox. And we all come from the time where Firefox was the big one. It was dominant. It was crushing everything. And those people left using Firefox. I kind of feel that, they're the hardcore ones. They're the faithful ones. And they really didn't like the spin of this, the way it was played off. I genuinely think everybody would have been a lot cooler with it if Firefox, that entire blog post, had come out and said, hey, we need some money, yo. There's some ads in the suggestion search bar. Cool. I'm like, fine.
Honesty.
All right.
It goes a long way.
We can just disable it, and it's not going to be that big of a deal. And yes, to that point, you can disable it, but I do urge everyone, don't make excuses for it. Don't. I mean, it is what it is. And, it takes money to make a product. And that's what Firefox is, and arguably a very good product. I mean, they've done some very questionable things, getting rid of effectively the, hey, we're doing cool stuff for the internet department. That kind of got disappeared. And I was sad about that. And I think a lot of people were as well. But, when it does come down to operational cost I'm not 100% on like, what is the Firefox Mozilla Foundation, exactly what is what, but I do genuinely wonder, because no one's ever came back and hit me with this, the need to have headquarters in Toronto, London, Paris, San Francisco, and Portland. Like physical locations, especially in a post, work at home environment world that we're in right now.
Especially with those cities, it's like, oh, expensive, and probably expensive. No.
I don't know.
Again, I can absolutely see it's like, yes, we need money, and people will say, yes, they're doing this because they need money. Absolutely. This is not how you go about it. Even if we are to assume, okay, they're not going to bend the knee to every scummy corporation willing to keep them afloat, just because that's probably what's going to happen. But this is just built-in native advertising with a behavioral model, because it does the same thing that it used to do. It just gives you the suggestions like it used to of sites you've been to, sites from your bookmarks, sites or recommendations from the default search engine. Now it also includes the paid ads. I don't want to reward this kind of behavior. I don't. But I do like Thunderbird. I do like Thunderbird very much. So I'm not going to say, stop using Firefox altogether, because I do want her to keep getting developed, at least till someone else picks it up. Then we'll talk.
Well, I know one thing that we learned week before last, when we went into the Firefox experiments, and we all found out, like, wait, we're in some things I didn't know.
I was in 3 of them that I had no idea.
Which isn't strange, but they've also been testing, giving Bing search results to like 1% of the audience. But I think for me, it does boil down to, I used to make a lot more excuses for Firefox when they were doing like the crazy moonshot stuff, like just the experimental labs. And this is one of the reasons I've never given Canonical a hard time, because they've done some crazy sideways stuff, but you need that department, and doesn't make fiscal sense to keep them around. But that's where, like, every now and then that really cool idea comes from. But yeah, Jill, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm, actually really sad about this. Fortunately, Firefox is still the only open source web browser, so we can say that positively. And we love Firefox. And but I'm going to be disabling contextual suggestions for sure in the future. And I think they need to be disabled by default and then allow people to turn those on if they want them. And honestly, this reminds me of what Canonical implemented with the Amazon search shopping lens and Unity, which wasn't liked by the Linux community. That wasn't liked either. And my idea is a simpler and respected way to monetize would be to ask for donations like Wikipedia does. And Wikipedia is doing right now. As soon as you go to their website, they ask, hey, please, can you donate $5, $10 for us to stay alive and stay, relevant? And I would happily do that. And I do donate to the Mozilla Foundation. So there are
I guess the
respected ways to do
advertising
that.
model, between those two, I guess the advertising model is the more profitable one. It's just that profit
that's
is
true.
going to lead to less than above board suggestions.
You never know. I mean, like, what they're looking for is, relying on donations, even a quarterly, is not a terribly sustainable business model. It just isn't. I wish it was. But to answer, when is it, Fulliston? Yeah, this is North America only right now. They're not launching this in the EU, which also makes me go, GDPR type stuff, maybe?
Something, regulations?
No.
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk it?
Could be. Something to keep eyes on. But hey, I mean, you can disable it. So, and keep Firefox around. I still use it where I can, where it makes sense. And everything else, you can use Chromium. I mean, it exists. Pedro, you would know this. Does KDE still have a web browser?
You can still install Conqueror, yes.
Okay.
Conqueror. It's one of my favorites.
It's not
still.
the default anymore, but you can install it.
Because I remember using that back in the day just for laughs. Like, let's see. Yeah. Whoa. All right.
And now it has, you just go into the options and you enable the ad blocker. It's like, oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, very nice.
Right on. So, Chrome, everyone's favorite data collecting vampire.
Yeah. So speaking of data collection,
From bad to worse.
Yes. So the Chrome web browser on Android is bringing back RSS. Kind of. What's cool is Google now lets you click a follow button and follow sites within its mobile browser. And you get content updates on sites you follow through Chrome on your new tab page. And actually, this works really well. And it is nice to have your own customized feed on your Google search tab along with Google's personalized search results. And it's actually really, really easy to enable. It shows up in the follow button shows up in the hamburger menu on the stable version of Chrome for Android, but it's still rolling out, and you can manually enable it by going to the URL Chrome flags, which is their settings, and search for web feed, and then simply select enabled. It's very easy. And what's really cool is then you can manage your follows by turning specific websites on or off. So if there's a lot of sites you followed, like I've already followed about 50, and then I realized went back, I don't want to follow that one right now. It's easy to turn it off. And it's just it's really nice because we haven't had RSS features in Chrome in a very long time. We did at one time. So it is nice that they're bringing these back.
Do you grab your PBR, get on your Fixie, put on some Arcade Fire, and go subscribe to some RSS feeds?
Not anymore, no. But I too was one of the people that when Google, relevant, decided to kill Reader, you remember that, their aggregation service that collected all of your RSS feeds if you so chose. Yeah, they killed that, and now they're bringing that functionality to Chrome. I look forward to it being axed in 3 years and angering a whole new sleuth of people.
Oh, come on. Yeah. When was the last month Google killed something?
I remember Pedro
there's entire websites dedicated to that.
Yeah. I remember going through the RSS Google feed reader, and when it was all gone, when it was done, I'm like, oh man, I got to reset that up all again on another service.
Find another RSS aggregator, and good luck.
See, the trick is to have never relied on RSS feeds in the first place.
Oh no, I love them.
Well, you see, you enjoy having your emotions played with. I, on the other hand.
Well, I use services that I can export, XML, export my RSS feeds.
Bypassing all that, just not using them. I never got into the RSS, podcast, but for as like news and stuff like that, even back in the day, like the precious that I was carrying around that was very guarded was my bookmarks folder. Because that was my click. Hey, there's all the news sources, and I would have that semi-organized. These days, I mess with because you have like the super bar, and you have whatever you have on. It's called in Chrome, just the URL bar. I have the first two letters of every site that I normally visit. It's probably like maybe 50 or 60. Like, okay, enter, enter. It's just that's how I roll. I don't know. I'm not as cool as you use RSS feeds.
The one RSS thing that, besides Reader, that really disappointed me was the KDE built-in one, the default Plasmoid.
Oh, yeah.
That allows you to, you just drag and drop RSS feeds into it, and it starts showing them to you. I had a significant collection, and it's like, okay, I want to export them. You can't. Excuse you? Yeah, you can't export them.
Oh, no.
Back in the KDE 4.0 days.
I want
okay, we're done.
Here's what I want. I want somebody to go drop an RSS feed from a podcast into that and see what it does.
Yeah.
It gives you the thumbnail if you set one and the titles.
You've tried it?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I used to have LGC as one of those.
In this new feature, in this
the new one.
I did Linux Gamecast and got the LWW and LGC weekly links, and did it for several podcasts actually.
There you go. All right, let's talk about the most boring story we have this week, and it's barely a story, but hey, we'll give it a mention.
Is it Linux?
Yeah. So this is really cool. Something also, this is actually happy. So one of my favorite distros of all time gets an update this week. Woohoo! So it's Debian GNU Linux 11.1 Bullseye has been released. And this is the first point release of the Bullseye series with 24 security updates and 75 bug fixes. And what's cool is these 99 updated packages make it so much easier to deploy the latest version of Debian on new machines because you don't have to download hundreds of updates after installation. And you can update your existing Debian Bullseye installs easily, just like all the previous Debian installs, or download the live and install ISOs. And I had actually a lot of fun with this. Pedro, tell me about your fun you had first.
I didn't have a whole lot of fun, to be honest, Jill.
Oh, you did.
I literally turned on.
Yeah, the 1, 2, the middle one. There's 3 boxes to me. PC's under my right side here, but 2 of them were running 11. They were updated. They didn't blink. There's another box under this corner of the desk for the audio. Updated, no problem. Then we got the broadcast box over here. It updated and it rebooted. Everything worked. I think that was a total of maybe 5 minutes.
Awesome.
Yeah, no,
Sweet.
I pulled the T42.5 down from the shell. It's like, ooh, there's a thing. Run the full upgrade. It's like, changed version from 11 to 11.1. Oh, there we go then. Yeah. All right.
Ooh,
cool.
Sweet.
Delightfully boring. That's what Debian's about.
Aww.
That is our motto.
Yes.
The good kind of boring. And that's why I run Debian.
Debian stable. So I actually installed Debian 11.1, the LXDE ISO and a VM. And honestly, I have to admit, this is the first time that I have installed Debian using the GUI installer. And it is sweet. It's the Calamares installer, and it's one of my favorite Linux installers. So it's honestly the first time. I've always installed Debian with
Well,
CLI.
Jill, it doesn't count. You installed it with a VM. It doesn't count as an install. That's only 0.5 of an install.
I know. Quick and dirty. Because I have lots of computers in here I want to update, including my 486. I want to see how long it takes to install Bullseye on my 486. Or one of my 486s.
Listen, Pedro, some people have more time than others.
I mean, sometimes I start questioning what I'm doing when I grab a laptop and it takes like 5 minutes to do a simple thing. It's like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
See, I genuinely have thought about like getting like an Ultra 5 or an Ultra 10 out of my spare room.
Oh, yes.
Like, okay, kids, this is how you install. This is how we used to install Linux on them back in the day. Let me teach you about the open boot problem and all the moon commands on the keyboard. Then I realized that, no, I hate myself that much. Not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, FX Boy Forever says we'll look forward to the results of that next month, Jill. Yeah, so true. And I have about actually several hundred retro computers with Debian installed on them.
We get it, bro. You hoard. Now, a problem I see constantly. Now, if you want to have a fun time, just set up a search on TweetDeck for like Linux Audio Discord. It never ends. It's just a constant stream just running down of people going, man, there's no way. It's impossible. Discord, you need to fix my inability to use Linux correctly. Come on, Discord. How come you haven't fixed my inability? That's not what they say, but that's what they really mean. They don't know how to use Linux. So they can't figure out how to get audio from screen sharing back into the channel itself. And that's Discord's fault for them not understanding how to use the tool in front of them. Right, Pedro? Mm-hmm. I think somebody's going to try to file.
I saw that tweet too. It's like, oh, I wonder if Ben's going to say something. Well, I don't know if you replied to him, but here it is.
Pedro Mateus. That is one of 20 a day.
That one showed up on the Linux Gaming. That's why I saw it.
Okay. That was the taste. That is...
Hey man, audio doesn't work on Linux. So yeah, I guess we go from the, the boring part of Linux to the not so boring part, the questionable part of Linux. But yeah, no, as much as we mock, Pulse Audio has been basically, that's how we started doing this. And it is very much in a usable state. But if you want to do something a bit more involved, like say setting up virtual syncs or virtual sources and then tying those virtual sources to a virtual sync that you can just feed to something else.
PACMD?
Yes,
Sync?
you could use PACMD like everyone else does, or you go to Google, you type how to, then it tells you how to, you do that, and then it goes, oh, there we go.
But don't you just kind of like grin sometimes, Pedro, when you open up the graph manager and you're like, click, unclick.
Yeah.
That jack does have its advantages.
We can't hear your pulsy problems from our jack-powered ivory tower is what I'm trying to communicate.
But with Pulse Meter, you actually have a GUI to create the virtual syncs and the virtual sources and then tie them together. You just point which one you want to go where, and it's like, oh, that's nice. Not actually having to learn the syntax for the CLI is very much appreciated. I've been screaming that we need more GUIs for everything, so I'm glad it's actually happening now. And I do have one request, though, because Pulse is all very well and good. Can we be sure this is going to work when, Pipewire becomes the thing?
See, you say that. That's up to Pipewire. If Pipewire works correctly, yes, it will.
Yeah, because it would just be a drop-in replacement and it would work. But please, we've all been around long enough to know that that's not going to happen.
I like seeing something like this mainly because it uses the language of voice meter banana or whatever it's called.
On Windows. Yeah.
And that's going to be searchable and people are going to find it, which is fine because that allows like basic routing in Windows to get audio from one application to the other, which has been doable on Linux for 10 years plus. Yeah, it's just with Pulse Audio, with Jack, much longer, but it required typing, and that's over some people's heads. And
learning the syntax, yes.
I'm giving people a hard time because some people are just like, man, I just want this thing to do the thing. I also understand that too. I understand that. But if you need to do some, simple but slightly advanced routing, this is what it's here for, man. Being able to create those syncs and the routes, and it's got a nice GUI, and most importantly, you don't have to compile anything. No warning, you will have to open the terminal up, but it's as simple as just a make install, and it's going to drop everything that you need. Also, for my brothers and sisters on Arch, check it out. Pyro as Bolt Meter.
Yes, the AUR.
That's it.
Yes.
And if you're using that bit about installing stuff from the AUR from a few weeks back, Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was actually looking forward to this because I know people that use Voice Meter on Windows, and they add push-to-talk sound effects through their mics while playing games. And it's nice to have an easy option that's a GUI to do that. I mean, I use Jack now, but it's nice for the average user who needs to use Pulse. So it's great.
Well, latency and like self-monitoring and all that, you know, like Pulse is not really good at that. Like Pulse latency, we were talking with a game developer in our Discord about like dealing with Pulse and like input latency for a rhythm game that they have.
And how to measure it and how to actually do things, especially if you have a rhythm game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
Timing's everything.
I was curious. I'm like, what's considered good? Not really. Like I've played DDR. That's about it. And like 50 milliseconds was considered optimal, somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. Pulse might be able to pull it off. Might.
The only game that I ever tried that was the one I mentioned is like, Crypt of the Necrodancer. It actually asks you as you started to like, okay, hit up along with the beat so we can measure what the latency is. And it said like, oh, you have 21 milliseconds latency. Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Well, one of the fun things, I didn't have the heart to bring that into the conversation, was every time you plug and unplug one of your USB audio decks, you're going to get a different latency reading.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that supposed to be fixed with 515?
Stay tuned for the upcoming Interfacing Linux spoilers.
Oh.
So
Then at least we don't have to worry about the days of OS or eSound. Yay.
OSS worked. I mean,
I still use OS with Winamp
the
or XMMS.
at the end of the day, I try to like everything's using ALSA. At the end of the day, it all boils down to ALSA.
True.
And there's still people out there in 2021 that I've been asked these questions. But how do I do this directly with ALSA? You don't. LGC cares.
That's why the abstraction exists. Yes.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
Ubuntu, not fame, but frame.
Yeah, so Ubuntu has been framed. Woohoo! So, but no, really, Ubuntu Frame is an Ubuntu Linux distro for the Internet of Things, but more specifically aimed at digital signage and kiosks. So Ubuntu Frame makes it easy to build and deploy graphical applications for interactive kiosks, digital signage, or any other products, that require a graphical output. And it also comes with an integrated direct rendering manager, or DRM, and kernel mode settings, KMS, to backup displays. And this is wonderful. Ubuntu already has the Ubuntu Core Linux, which is also used for Internet of Things projects, but this is specifically aimed for signage and all things that are visual. So, and they both will be supported for 10 years, which is awesome. LTS.
That's like for an underlying operating system. I mean, I guess I get it, but like, there's some really good, robust signage applications that have been around for a long time for a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, that work well. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With a lot less overhead.
Yeah.
Than you said.
Yeah. But you know what? Because Ubuntu Frame uses snaps, it's easy to upgrade.
And also requires more resources.
A lot less overhead.
Yes.
I know what I said.
I'm saying something positive for snaps.
But
there's no such thing.
Snaps make sense as long as it's not. I don't know. They exist. Snaps. Hire me for marketing.
They exist.
It's like apples from Rick and Morty. Snaps. Aww. They exist.
Well, there's so many users that are using Ubuntu, so this makes sense. So you have your Debian option with the Raspberry Pi, and now you have your Ubuntu option.
And don't think you're safe, Fedora. I'm going to be jumping on Flatpaks Saturday. So
Yeah, no, that went exactly as I expected it would.
Yeah.
When I put that link in the show notes, I was reading the article. I was like, oh, Ven's going to like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I was rocking and rolling until I got towards the bottom and went, nope. That's where Vin tech support ends right there. It's like, correct that. But well, again, you're also talking about the same magazine that told people to install a full RT kernel on their desktop. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh yes, and wonder where your
I
video.
think they're slowly learning
maybe.
because that was the only egregious bit that I could find in that article. So,
Pedro, why? How does this even begin? You look at your calculator and you're like, nah, man, I got to fight the man. I can't run the man's OS on my calculator.
You look at your calculator and you go, this is too simple, too intuitive, too everything. I want this. I want to use it as a computer that only works correctly sometimes. Well, I don't actually know because the one Texas Instrument calculator with a Z80 processor that I had is in Portugal. Last I heard from it, my little brother was using it for university. He's finished university now, so I don't know. But yeah, this is Night OS. It's a operating system, Unix-like operating system, not Linux specifically, but certainly very, very neat, and it runs on your Z80-based TI calculators, like the TI-73, the TI-83 Plus, Silver Edition, the 84, 84 Plus. Yeah, that's the 84 Plus is the one I had. And it is, yeah, it's an operating system. It's a full-blown operating system for your Texas Instrument calculator.
Woohoo!
That's amazing. Yeah.
See, and you thought
Yeah.
you were achieving like peak edge lord playing video games on Linux, man. Some people you don't even register it on. I'm like,
No. That's way too mainstream. I use my Texas Instruments.
Aw. Well, my TI-30 from the 70s is too old for Nighty Night OS. Sorry.
I think for a lot of us, some like slightly more advanced like programs that we learned to play around with was with programming our TIs back in the day. You know, playing games in class and stuff like that, making them do things they absolutely were not supposed to do. I know for me, it was it's something to play around with. So I like something like this existing. Also, I still find it incredibly impressive that those calculators were 30 years ago, 70 pounds. And if you go to buy one today, still 70
pounds. Yeah. Yeah.
They went up in price. Even the Casio graphic calculator that I had for
they were like over 100
when I
now.
was when I was in like 10th grade that I got it, they weren't cheap. They were like 50 euros, which at the time was significant. And now they're easily 3 times that if you go looking for one of them. So no, no.
Yeah, I'm going to actually pick up a more modern graphing calculator because I have all the vintage Texas Instruments calculators, and so I really want one of the Z80 chips so I can play with this OS. I have put Doom and Mario and Tetris on one of my old calculators.
I did run Doom on the
nice.
Casio just because I had to. It's like, okay, can I do this? I just follow the thing. I can. Neat.
Well, you had to be like a normal person and run your TI emulator in your 3DS.
Yes.
This exists. So, good news, everyone. Good news. This is our favorite segment. Microsoft loves Linux. The best part of Windows 11, according to Ars Technica, is the revamped Windows subsystem for Linux. It's finally easy to install because previously it required being above room temperature and possibly a pulse. Microsoft has helped out. They filed it down a little more. And it offers automatic sound and graphics support. Look at it. It's so blurry. Aw. So what do we get? Well, one, it is easier to install. They put it in the Microsoft App Store because, hey, you don't have to worry about typing things. You don't have to open one of those big spooky terminals, and I guess that's going to help some other people out. And a couple of, no further arguments needed. You just get the hyper. You can do WSL install if you want to do it that way. You can get a current version of Ubuntu, and I think there's some other stuff floating around in there. And you can install a second distribution on top of your first one. It's not going to uninstall it now. That's pretty neat. Graphics supports the big story though, and sound and graphics. So you're going to get Wayland. I don't know what they're going to be using on the back end. For audio, I'm assuming Pipewire. It might be Pulse Audio, but apparently it does work. I've seen multiple people report on Twitter that, I have sound running in Linux and Windows. It's so, well, they made it simple enough.
So you're saying the meme is going away.
They're going to get very disappointed, man. I guess good on you, Redmond. I mean, you nerfed it to the point to where Windows users can make audio work under Linux.
Yeah. Windows users get to experience what everyone else using Linux has figured out a long time ago. But hey, welcome. Took you long enough.
You can get a ZFS up and running on it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't understand. I haven't been sold. I don't have Windows to have a need. No, I could understand if I was stuck in a Windows environment at work or something like that, and I couldn't get the go ahead to install Linux, but they're like, yeah, WS. I'm like, done. But outside of that,
definitely. Yeah. Well, a cool thing that happened this morning is that Microsoft made the announcement that they're making it easier to install WSL through their software center now. So that's a first that just landed this morning. And but what's cool is, the best thing about Windows 11 is Linux, says Jim Salter. And this actually doesn't surprise me a bit. But you still need bare metal Linux to run a LAMP or a LAMP server to communicate with other systems on the network. WSL hasn't reached that point yet, but it probably will in the future. And what I like is Jim Salter in the article sums it up nicely and states that Windows subsystem for Linux G in Windows 11 eliminates a lot of pain points for fellow Linux users trapped in Windows land at work, as Ven was saying, as well as offering the easiest way possible for newbies to get their feet wet and try new things. So I thought he summed it up very nicely there.
Maybe Microsoft's going to be the one to make Linux user-friendly. And I don't like using the term user-friendly because I find Linux to be perfectly user-friendly. Then again, I find HP UX to be perfectly user-friendly. Solaris could take a minute to figure out, but
well, you have user-friendly or people who claim they're user-friendly, and then they go out of their way to be as unfriendly as possible.
I think at the end of the day, it boils down to this is my analogy, and I'm not going to use cars. I'm going to use video game controllers. You have the two types. You have the person who's playing the game like, man, I got to get better. I got to work. I got to learn some new stuff. I got to improve my game. Then you get the person's like, this controller's broken. Is that accurate enough for everyone?
Yeah.
That's how I see people coming at Linux. They're like, oh man, I got to reset my skill set. I got to learn some new thing. And that's when you're supposed to get excited. You're like, oh yes, new stuff to play with. Let's do it. And like, I got to do some weird hacker
things. No, some people aren't posted that.
You have to learn some weird hacker things that you got to do and to get something to get set up. And I've seen somebody say this, like, it's maybe if I did some of that cryptic stuff, to which I retort, you mean learn how to use the operating system?
Oh. Ven, if you installed rat poison as a window manager, then you could scare them away from Linux.
Well, I mean, you would scare anybody away who was trying to be productive.
Yeah. No, actually, I'm quite productive in rat poison.
Sure you are. So, hey, if you want to support what we do, you can do that by becoming a patron over at patreon.com/Linux Gamecast. That's where you lovely miscreants can get some cool stuff, rewards. We get a bonus show that we put out each and every week, access to our Discord, and a couple other behind the scene things. If you're curious about audio stuff, I do that series, Interfacing Linux. Somebody's got to do it. You're going to be getting a sneak peek, some number digits, and everything that I go through with that. Also, if you like these shows, there's a lot more for them, man. There's a beginning and an end. We call it the pre-super shows, and on Saturday, an hour beforehand, but we make available live and uncut series in podcast format and video for patrons for helping us out. But, as always, live stream's always going to be completely free. We have IRC. It's even tied into our live chat, so Discord, IRC, and Twitch can chat with each other anytime they want. And stick around for your name in the credits, because that's how we kind of thank you. There's a wall back here. I'm not going to tell you how you end up on it because I'm running out of room. Also, Pedro and Jill, they got like a little wish list if you want to buy them trinkets and make them talk. You know, you're sitting around, you're like, man, I need some new things for a voice text message. I'm going to, here you go. And they'll read it out. You can record it and terrorize your local neighborhood with a loudspeaker.
I actually went through my wish list and I sorted everything that was like reasonably priced. I sorted that by, price. So
yeah, that's what I do too, Pedro.
Best of luck to everyone. Now, let's start with some cinematic pie. Yeah, ultra wide.
Some metal pie.
Well,
it's kind of like cherry pie.
I don't know. It's either that, okay, it's cherry pie, or it's a bowl of oatmeal that's bleeding.
That's it's got some crumb on top, but yeah, it could be raspberry or it's a little too red for blueberry.
I mean, it could be plastic too.
I'm sure the plate underneath is.
So,
but yeah.
Pedro, have you ever looked at your Raspberry Pi? We were talking about overhead, and you're like, operating system. It's a little too much overhead for old Mateus.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, see, there's a bunch of crazy people out there that are actually trying to make something run directly on the metal or the silicon, however you want to describe it.
We talked about this before, but it's a thing now.
Yep, it is very much a thing. So this isn't firmware-ish, but it is a bare metal operating system, and it's not purely the bare metal in the sense that typical firmware is, because it's not running on the individual components, but it is for the Raspberry Pi, the whole single board computer itself. So it's kind of like that. But yeah, no, these kinds of projects, and our Pi 4 OS dev is very much one of them. They very rarely get any kind of attention until they hit that one very neat thing that everyone goes, oh, we want that. Or it's like massive performance gains that actually comes downstream to other projects like, oh, where did that come from? Yeah, that I want people playing around with this and actually finding new stuff about. This one's for the Pi 4. Actually find interesting new things for the Pi to do with the Pi with as little overhead as possible.
You're not going to get it with this, man. Come on. This thing's 93% C. And I don't care what you say. But then C's just assembly with comments.
Well, there's some assembly there too.
3.3%. Yes. I am kind of fascinated by the origin story of this. The creator writes, hey, man, I'm a tech CEO at Real VNC. I don't write code anymore. And I recently realized how much I missed it. And nerd, this is definitely a byproduct of lockdown. It's like, oh, all right. So I'm going to try to write a close to bare metal system for the Raspberry. Right on. 100% behind that.
Yeah, this tutorial actually is really well written and seems easier and a lot less tedious than, following the Linux from scratch instructions that I did years ago. It does seem this is a great way to learn bare metal OS.
Well, yeah, no, they even got Bluetooth low energy working.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right.
So will it make my Stream Deck faster?
Possibly. I mean, you're going to have to do it yourself, but possibly.
I don't know. Like if I can get a lamp stack up and running on it, we're good. Yeah. AirPlay Play. Do you have any AirPlay type stuff? Anybody in their houses? I don't have any AirPlay stuff.
Apple devices. Do you have any?
I got Sonos speakers. Those cost as much as Apple devices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have lots of Apple devices, but I don't use AirPlay.
Probably a sensible decision. But if you did and you wanted to try, mirroring it to or using a Linux device to mirror or serve as an AirPlay server. Well, there were a couple of other projects. We covered one that only did sound a while back, which was Go Play 2. I think that was the name. And now we have AirPie Play, which is by itself, it doesn't do anything because I found it a bit weird when I saw the languages bit. Thank you, GitHub. That was very much appreciated. The languages bit down the side. It's like, oh, it's all shell script. Wait, what? There's nothing else. How did you do all of that in shells? Okay. So this is just a front end for AirPie Play, which is the actual server software. That this is basically a bash script that acts as a CLI that just provides a bunch of variables that you can set the name of the Pi server for that it shows up in the AirPlay stuff. You can set where you want audio to go out of, be it HDMI, analog, not at all. Do you want it to play in the background? Do you want it to enable low latency mode? Do you want like rotation for like 90 degrees, or do you want image flip as in to actually flip the picture that's being displayed? Because yes, AirPie Play doesn't just do sound, it does video too, which is important. That's very important. So this combination seems to be the way to go if you're playing with the AirPlay stuff on Linux.
I mean, in a strange way, I got to appreciate it. I would never think to bring an iDevice to a Linux party. It's just...
That's how you get mocked. Unless you say, no. See, this is running Linux. It's like, oh, okay.
I was about to say, man, I wrote Linux on it. Look, I got a sticker.
I think it is cool that it's, you can launch it with the Balana Cloud Fleet. Balana Etcher is the app I use to
okay, I'm going to give you one more chance to say that name correctly, Jill.
I don't know if I'm saying it right, so...
Balina.
Oh, okay.
You had 3 chances on your own. That's it.
Yeah. Balina Etcher is the ISO.
Yes, it is developed by the Balina people, and Balina Cloud that's a service that I didn't know.
Oh yeah,
was a thing.
Huge. It's huge with the Raspberry Pi too. They have lots of projects for the Raspberry Pi. I've gone through some of them. They're really good.
What is that? People like, is that Docker for Pi basically? What's going on there?
Yes, it's a different kind of Docker.
It's like a software center for Pi.
Yes.
With that'll let you do, lots of things, like make a.
But
Pi
if you are one of the Docker people, there's a Docker Compose and a Docker template on it, so you can just point it at them and away you go.
Can I install Docker with a snap?
Probably.
Yeah.
Pedro, okay. Now, listen, winter's coming. I'm trying to generate heat here. So. We're running out of time, everyone. We got to get out of here. Hey, if you want to get a hold of any of us, really, just head over to our web zone, linuxthemecast.com, smash that contact button, fill out the form, select the right show. This one happens to be LWDW, and we'll get back to it. We might even read your question, comment, hint, thought, allegation right here on this very show. But that's going to do it for episode 296. We got to pull up some music and roll them credits.
Here it
comes. Oh, we have some new people in chat too. Deep to deep. I like that name.
Deep to deep. And RWX Rob. And let's see.
Silent Procyon.
And we got Steve. Yes. Steve watches the whole boring thing, but Jill's like, man, I ain't got time to watch your boring
Steve's
stuff,
biased.
Steve.
Oh, yeah.
Steve's biased because his wife is on the show.
Doesn't sound like a balanced relationship to me, buddy.
Well, thank you everyone in chat. X-Boy forever. FX-Boy, FX-Boy forever. FX-Boy forever. Sorry, FX-Boy. I messed that one up. Arthur, of course.
See you next week, everyone.
I'm not gonna go bug Wimpy for a GPU. In fact, I wasn't even expecting him to agree when I said, it's like, okay, help me get my hands on a 1080.
I get you beat. I'm like, oh, here, talk to this person. They'll give you a video card. I'm like, no. That's self-control,
Wimpy is the
kids.
one who came to me. It was like, oh, okay, so Veronica did an article. I don't agree. Can you do some tests for me, please? Like, yes, I can.
We're gonna
So I
get a counter for how many times I've heard this story, because I know it's in the 20s now.
Yeah. Speaking of Wimpy, Wimpy's World is live. He's streaming
Yes.
Taking Circuit Superstars
What's that?
for a spin on Linux. I don't know. Must be. I don't know.
We agree.
It doesn't say. We'd have to look. I can go to Wimpy's World and check. That is one I haven't heard of.
What am I checking? I know what I'm checking. I'm checking a thing. Duh. I'll get it right in a minute.
There we go.
I got an
That
ad.
was the article that resulted from the information that Wimpy got from me.
Oh.
And when I was done, it's like, okay, awesome. I thought that was it. It's like,
I'm
I
counting
like
this
to.
as a separate one, Pedro. So this is the second one today.
It was a continuation.
There was over a minute of dead time.
I was trying to find a link.
Trip the counter, man. You gotta have that stuff ready to go.
Fine, count another one. But yeah, it is. I thought that was it, and it was like, no, I like, rewarding people when they do stuff to help the project. It's like, well, if you help me get my hands on a 1080, I will run Ubuntu Mate. So that's absolutely fine. We'll call it even then. And he said, okay. It's like, oh, dang. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, Circuit Superstars. I haven't played it yet, so.
So what were people arguing about OpenGL and Vulkan in the future? Everything's going to be Vulkan in the future.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Steve Husband brings up an important point. The Balena in Balena Cloud is spelled like Balana from Voyager. So there's my confusion. I know Balana from Voyager.
Isn't
Star Trek
Balana with an
Voyager.
E at first and then an A after the L? Balana?
Yeah. But it's
That's
still.
BALE. So Balee.
Yeah. But, yeah. Oh, well. I
There
said
you
it
go.
wrong.
Just tap out, man. You're like, hey, man, I messed up.
I tried.
That's the thing. I'm not entirely sure I'm correct either.
Yeah.
And I'm over here on team 3 of like, I don't care. Not even like you couldn't calculate this. Oh man. Yeah, I was playing around with pulse audio latency with like OBS trying to do self-monitoring. That's impossible.
Oh, FX Boy Forever. If that's the case, you can actually just launch it in the terminal. I did have that on. I put it on 2 machines, and one of my machines had that same error, but I was still able to launch it from the terminal. At least on mine. One of them. I installed it on 2. 'Cause I'm gonna put that on every machine. Oh, okay. Oh, that was it. I couldn't. One of my machines wouldn't let me do a make install because it was having some dependency issue, which I can fix. But it was able to launch directly from the directory.
What's Pulse Meter?
It's the one that creates the virtual syncs.
Oh, there's nothing to compile.
The GUI.
It ships with binaries. It runs a script. You can just copy the two binaries into your bin directory and you're done.
The make file is just the copy.
Yeah. No, I know. It's just it wouldn't do the make file install on one of my machines. On the other one, it did. So I just ran it.
And if you try to run it from
the make file just sets permissions and copies the files. That's it.
Yeah, you can't run it from inside the directory itself because it's looking for the other bin file, and but they both have to be bin USR.
Yeah, supposedly yes.
Well, you do, or it won't work.
Yeah, the finding ever since I learned how to pip. I don't get as much enjoyment out of playing the find the missing Python module, or specifically find what the distro named that specific Python module.
If I see something that requires a pip install or anything, I just walk the other way, man. It's not worth my time. I don't want to mess with it. Like, I want to play around with Tenacity, but I don't want to mess around with getting the whatever moon version of WX widgets set up on my. I'm not messing with that. Nuh-uh. I've fought WX widgets before. It won. I know my limitations. Yeah, but
I often.
This is my people.
Yeah.
This is my people. This guy knows how to spend his free time. And there it is. And it fits the same footprint.
Pi Pico
cool.
form factor.
Yeah, you see. Yeah. Notice the Spartan PG.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so down with that.
Again, the Raspberry Pi just basically driving the form factor adoption forward. It's like, oh, we're going to launch the Pi Pico. I was like, oh, we're just going to make everything Pi Pico shape now.
Well, I mean, everything. I mean, if you're releasing a small board, yes, you got to fit that Pi footprint because you don't want to try to spin your own cases.
Cases, coolers. Yeah.
If you're running CentOS 7, you better not be trying to do anything other than like run some legacy that requires CentOS 7.
You could tell the people who are going like, but streams.
Streams.
Updating to CentOS streams.
You get what you pay for. Ask for a refund. We can install Rocky.
Or what was the other one? Alma?
Right. Speaking of which, I need to... Let's see what our status reports are now. Let's see if I can log into Jitsi.
And then you get emails from Canonical employees like, we saw you installed Ubuntu on Azure. Everyone's at fault in that one.
There. I just put pulse meter on this computer because I hadn't yet.
All right, let's open the console. It looks like I mean, it's running, but let's see if I can connect to it. Negative Ghost Rider. I've never tangled with Azure.
It's not the worst thing. I mean, it is very much, a CMS by way of Microsoft, but once you figure out how they've laid things out, it's not bad. I'm not going to go out of my way to say it's good, but it's not bad.
I have been playing around with something that I'm still very unclear. Like I talked about it in the pre-super shows because that's not to the general public. I've been playing around with something Azure-ish.
AWS?
No, from another vendor we talked about that I currently use.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
That one.
Yes.
And that's been going smooth. We've deployed two, last Wednesday and Sunday when I pushed everything out. Everything went smooth. It kicked over. I was happy with that. And that's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. Not paying for egress.
Mm-hmm.
Still kind of waiting.
That's you were describing. That's like that sounds too good to be true.
Still
Where's
waiting.
the cash?
Still waiting. I'm like, this has got to change. Something's got to give it. Like, because like that initial salvo, like I even cut the taps off because I typically push everything out initially with Amazon for about 30, 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Then we can eat the rest usually. But I let it run for like almost 2 hours, 137 gigabytes. So we'll see. I mean, there's no metering. I mean, it just showed you, like, oh, it's going out like it normally does on the dashboard. I'm like, But we're also, like, I cut him a check to do edge caching, so a lot of that stuff is replicated out. So I don't know. Like, if I try to look at the server logs, what actually hits the server, it's a ghost town. Like, you've had 7 visits to the site today.
No one loaded anything that wasn't already cached elsewhere.
Well, it's not even the caching so much as that they're running the site.
Yeah.
Yeah. The server's an absolute mess.
Yeah.
If you look at certain Azure instances, yes, they are.
I don't do anything fancy with Amazon, but I know how to use it because I've been using it for so long, and it's criminally overpriced because it's Amazon and nobody's
they didn't have competition for a while.
Well, you got to remember, like Amazon kind of showed up and they were competition for Akamai.
Mm-hmm.
Like you want to talk about Amazon pricing looking reasonable? Yeah.
Everything, there was a time that you would see Akamai, whatever website you went to, is like Akamai, Steam! You tried to load a page in Steam, it's like Akamai, okay. That is an inherent qualifier. You don't need to do that.
The thing is, like, I would move our web zone right now. Like, if I ever think about doing it, I have 600 plus gigabytes in warm storage that has to come along with it. That's not an easy thing to go to point A to point B with. Works on no, I don't really have to deal with anything like that. I just bug Jordan about and let him, like, it's like, it's all horrible. Cool. But Microsoft loves Linux, man, especially when you can turn a profit on it.
Yes.
I mean, that's important. So by getting the research in?
No, I'm looking at Josh Walrath's latest tweet about the burger, and yeah, I'm getting heart palpitations just looking at it, but I kind of want to try it. That's yes. Let's see. There's the link. And there's the link.
Is that sausage?
I think so.
Oh,
2
my
sausages. And layers of cheese. 3 sausages, sorry, my bad. There's one at the back. It's called the Bangers and Mash Burger. Thank you, Josh.
The buns are just a formality at that point.
Alex, yum.
Yes. It is a mountain of meat and cheese. That's all you need.
No. I'm good. Low carb.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so is an Amazon Basics microphone.
Sugar, though.
Wouldn't need it either.
That cheese though, lactose and grease.
We can just put some sugar on it.
I'm sure that's what the bun is there for. Isn't it the McDonald's buns that are like
They're full of sugar.
10% of it is just sugar?
I was thinking what I meant to say is ketchup, but
Yeah.
Ketchup is mostly sugar too.
you know, Heinz tomato colored sugar paste.
Yes.
Tomato ketchup. Weird. Kids. Supposed to have mushrooms. Mushrooms for ketchup. The double down. I think Jordan got a double down way back when. I know.
Yeah, I love, as much as I love cheese, I don't like cheese on my hamburgers and hot dogs.
The hot dogs I pass on to cheese too. Hot dogs for me
Yeah.
is those really thin, really crunchy fries
Yeah.
with some mayo and some ketchup. Maybe a little bit of mustard too, but usually it's just the mayo and the ketchup. Dog, those teeny
You
tiny
eat
little
mayonnaise
fries.
on your
and
hot
away we
dog.
go.
What are you, Dutch?
Portuguese, but close enough.
A lot of places mix mayonnaise and ketchup together.
Yes, those are called elementary schools, Jill.
No, like fast food
Mayo
places do
chip is
that.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's the straw fries, as we call them in Portuguese.
Oh man, there's 2 condiments there. There's hot sauce and mustard.
Mustard, hot dog, mustard, yes. If there is no ketchup and mayo available, you put some mustard on it, absolutely. There we go, with the dangles for scale. That's how thin the
Yeah,
those
I love
fries
those kind
are.
of
So
fries. Nice.
crunchy.
I love
you
them
just
like
put
that too.
So
on the dog.
Who's got their
yeah.
Halloween costumes together?
Sexy Patrick. No.
Yeah, I need to.
This is Sexy Patrick.
I'm actually going to be going as Totoro this Halloween at a Halloween party.
I don't even know what that is. That's some anime stuff.
Totoro.
Yes.
All right.
Miyazaki, supposedly. My neighbor Totoro.
Oh, is that like that?
It's a kitty cat.
I was about to
from
say
Ben.
that like giant kitty cat thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I could have Googled it. I could have found it. How good are you, Google?
If you just type Totoro, it will give you the cat.
You know what? Little disappointed. Hey, Cord. See, that's why you don't drop any like mad hate on anime, because there's gonna be that anime you know.
There's that one you watched.
Yeah, the Star Wars thing was pretty decent. I didn't mind a couple of those, but like, man, there's nothing on right now, like anime that I've seen that I'd be remotely interested in.
There's a couple of anime shows on Crunchyroll that have me going, still not enough to pay you money. I'll keep watching the free version, but I kind of want to watch them. Season 2 of ReZero is one of them, because they're just not opening that one at all. And I want to, because the first season was very good. It was very good. So, yeah. And Demon Slayer Season 2 is also starting now, and they don't have a, free accounts get this on this day. It's like, never. It's like, okay. I like Demon Slayer. Maybe it'll show up on Netflix once that season's done, like the previous one did.
There's not much to like look forward to, man. I mean, I guess I'm like an episode behind on the thing on Apple. What's it called? Foundation.
Which one?
Foundation.
Yes.
Oh, trilogy. Yeah, I haven't watched it either.
I'll watch that. And geez, like things I'm remotely excited about. Well, if they bring back, they're series 2 of Good Omens, that I'm looking forward to.
The Boys.
The Boys, yes, that's coming out.
Are they doing a season 2 of Raised by Wolves?
They better.
Because it's been a while. It's like, okay, it's been a year. Can I get more?
HBO, you either do that or you get rid of that last episode.
Yes, it would be less of a FU cliffhanger.
That, like, that first episode of Series 2 needs to be the apology for that last episode.
Oh, Netflix. Okay, Netflix is good. If it's anime on Netflix, I'll probably watch it because it's anime on Netflix.
The true to form, the only anime, all right, 2 things I found on Netflix, and again, this is like 8 years ago, man. It was like, come on. This was back when you kind of had to really justify your Netflix online subscription as opposed to just getting the DVDs. And I was going through the anime. I found 2 things. One was Black Butler, which I was glad I ran across. Turned out to be a really good series. And the other one was like Gunsword, which is all right. Yeah. Black Butler I enjoyed.
Black Butler season 3 showed up on Netflix UK recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So I'd seen the first 2 seasons. It's like, yeah, cool. Season 3, the circus one. It's like, are we getting that? No? Okay. But now it's there.
Oh, man, I guess that came out in, 2014? Jeez. Yes, I also live in this world now where I'm old and I'm lazy and I'll watch stuff until it shows up on the services I pay for.
Yeah. It's like I'm paying for Prime for the content and I'm paying for Netflix. And Crunchyroll's looking at me. It's like, we got some of that anime.
Maybe you could do that. I got the Disney Plus, but like I'm trying to figure out. See, here's where Disney was being the good, evil, malicious company they are. They made Disney Plus so cheap that it's a rounding error.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a
See ya, FX boy.
soft drink somewhere
FX
a
boy.
month. And I'm like, all right, just keep it around. Like I don't even know what I'm paying Netflix now. We're like $20 a month or something like that.
10.
10.
I used to pay £7 because Nori had the student discount. Guess who's not a student anymore?
Ah, right.
Oh, yeah. I haven't even checked recently what the price is.
I have
Just pay 'em.
no idea. I think when I signed up, it was like $9 or $10 or something like that.
Yeah.
But I've had Netflix for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've only had Netflix since I came here because the Portuguese version of Netflix didn't show up until I left the country.
Oh, of course.
I was using it in university when I came here. It was more novel than anything else that you could click a button online and DVDs would show up. Like, huh. That's how, Cowboy Bebop. That's how I got introduced to Cowboy Bebop because I was, even back then, I was like, there's some anime or something to watch. I'm like, I'm very cautious about Cowboy Bebop live action. I don't know how that's going to work.
John Cho is, for the comedy bits, he'll probably deliver.
Interesting.
Like, I enjoyed Cowboy Bebop, but I'm not going to, like, I'm not one of those people that get, like, hinged up on something. I'm like, it's not perfect. Perfect adaptations from anime is not going to work, period, man.
It is a different medium.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to account for that.
Like, what was it? What was the anime IRL movie? Battle Angel.
I heard that one wasn't, I haven't seen it yet, but I heard that one wasn't terrible. Unlike the ScarJo, Ghost in the Shell.
You can watch ScarJo's Get because I went back and like rewatched it last year, I think. I'm like, because maybe I just caught up in the hype of like everyone's hating on it. And you can watch it for the cinematography because it's got a couple of like really nice blocked off shots just straight out of the anime. And you're like, that is pretty to look at. That is well done. Outside of that, Battle Angel was interesting because Battle Angel was based on the anime movie that they did more so than it was the original manga. To its detriment, but they did a real good job, like with the movie. They got most of the beats right. You know, they didn't introduce that. I think they introduced like one additional character, but yeah, that was a pretty decent movie. I mean, for what it was, I didn't mind it. I know they had to like redo the effects and like make her eyes smaller.
Yes, because she had full-on anime eyes IRL. And people were like, no, Uncanny Valley, no.
There's a line, man. There's a line. Too real. Yeah, DVD rentals. Do people... Okay. Here's a first world question. Do video rental stores still exist?
We were talking about that the other day.
Not here. Yeah.
The one in my hometown is still there.
Yeah, anime video rental places are still here, but not only anime ones.
Yeah, I have no idea
they-
what the anime selection for that video store is.
Well, here's the thing. Like, the one place to rent that's brick and mortar is Retro Age Games. And the other two rental places are Redbox kiosk.
Yeah.
That's how you make the money, man. We need to open up a VHS rental. Put it next to a craft brewery.
Find a way to make like vinyl record rentals profitable.
Running the player.
Yeah, because the actual discs itself, they're going to come back scratched.
We'll do that. We'll have gramophone rentals. Be awesome, man.
Techmoan, whenever he reviews, like, oh, it's a new vinyl record player, and he's always complaining that the mechanism is crap, and there's always a lot of variance at the, what is it called?
Speed, drive, rotation.
Wow and flutter. Like, he measures the wow and flutter variations.
Hmm.
Okay.
And it apparently the new ones, because all of the new players all use the same crap mechanism. It's the cheapest mechanism that people can find, and they shove it in, and then they just build a pretty shell around it. So yeah, it's if you have like a good record player, and if you rent it out, that would probably make you a lot of money. Yes.
So what is that doing? It's an IEC 386 bulk weighting. All right. That makes sense. I mean, I'm going to be that guy before we get out of here. You're not listening to vinyl for the audio fidelity, baby. It's like buying a modern day vinyl. It's like, so you want a vinyl reproduction of something that was completely digitally recorded and mastered? Mm-hmm. Okay.
The warmth of the
warmth. I like that. I'm using
warmness. The warmness of the pops and the cackles.
I'm just saying,
when you
listen,
pick up the needle and it goes.
I can put some pops and clicks in the audio, man. It'd be just like a real thing. I do a little very speed, you know. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Oh, okay. People collect those too, Arthur, and you joke. You joke.
I think, yes,
Yeah.
I need to go make dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all have fun.
I was just about to
shall see you
ask
on
Jill.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry.
What are you going to tell Steve to bring home tonight?
Don't know. Don't know yet. I'll have to think about that. I gotta get lunch first, and then I'll think about it.
All right. Well, I'm going to make this and turn it into a show.
Nice.
So, and then I'm just going to sit around and wait, and hopefully Jet Seeks will come back up. And I'll be able to get everything back up and working. But outside of that, everyone, have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday. And Jordan will return tomorrow. 1, 2. See, I only have 3 terminal windows open. Don't even feel like I'm using Linux.
Yeah.
No idea what he's going to be playing, but he usually does something.
Thank you, Artherin. Thank you, Katana.
And Friday, I'm going to be back doing something Drive. What did they send us keys for? Aeon Drive. So we're playing some hipster
cool.
pixel platforming, which I think I'm going to like. It's going to be a fun time. And of course, Saturday, we'll be back for the main show for another exciting episode of Linus and Luke Hero Linux as they stumble through their Linux adventure. We'll try to unpack a little bit of that along with the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and all the other fun stuff. So I will see you then. Jill, do you got anything else going on the rest of the week?
No. Just work. I'm waiting for my pine time. That should be here anytime now. Maybe today.
Maybe it's outside.
Yay. Yeah, it could be actually, because someone did come to the door.
I will see everyone later. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Love you all.